afternoon, everyone. Thank you, and welcome for attending our meeting today. We have a very full agenda, and so I'll call the meeting to order, and I'll ask Lisa to please lead us in the closest. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Lisa.
Good job, Lisa.
I'll ask for an approval of our minutes from our last meeting of March 26th.
So moved.
Seconded by Rhett, seconded by Lisa. Any comments, questions, edits? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a number of folks who have signed up to speak on our agenda today, and so we'll go get that started. And again, there are additional seats for anyone who would like to sit down. There are chairs up front. So our first speaker will be County Executive Adam Bello. Welcome, Adam. Nice of you to join us also.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to address the COMIDA board today. And I want to begin by first thanking every one of you who are members of the County of Monroe Industrial Development Agency. Over the past 4 years, your hard work and determination has resulted in over $4 billion in new investments in Monroe County and the creation or preservation of 9,000 jobs. The board acknowledged the importance of skilled labor in driving business growth and invested an initial $2.5 million in the Workforce Development Fund to enhance Monroe County's workforce. You've continued your support of our workforce development and to date have committed $5.3 million to workforce programs. On behalf of our community, I want to say thank you. These accomplishments result from your hard work and passion for growing our economy and creating a workforce and investing in a workforce for the future. Your work becomes more difficult, though, when it's mischaracterized and at times intentionally subjected to misleading statements. I'm referring now to the Topgolf project, where I've seen a number of misleading statements that have been shared on social media and other platforms to create confusion that I think can threaten this really tremendous project. I've seen everything from Topgolf would come to Monroe County without a pilot agreement, that the county is gifting millions of dollars of tax revenue to Topgolf, or that Topgolf's impact on the economy has been overstated. These are baseless assertions, and they're meant to discredit a really great project. Topgolf is a highly sought-after national brand that communities compete vigorously for. In fact, there are fewer than 100 Topgolf's locations nationwide. They want to come to Rochester because it proves that we are a growing community and that our economy here is strong. The proposed pilot is necessary to secure a $40 million investment in our community. Other communities that Topgolf has invested in included similar pilot agreements. The claim that a 10-year pilot is simply a tax dollar giveaway is not only baseless, but it shows a misunderstanding of the work that you do. This particular project will take essentially a landlocked and idle former landfill site, right? It's a site that's a former landfill, it's virtually landlocked, that over the next 10 years at its current tax rate will generate roughly $324,000 in property tax revenue to Monroe County, the town, and the school district. And it will take that site and the $300,000 and it will transform it into a $40 million tourism hub that will generate in the same time period in the next 10 years nearly $1.8 million in new pilot revenue to the town, the county, and the school district. As it's currently situated, that property will generate about $300,000 over the next 10 years. With the proposed pilot arrangement that's in front of you today, it will generate nearly $1.8 million. This isn't a tax giveaway to Topgolf. This is a revenue enhancement and more dollars, much needed dollars, to our local governments, including our school district. Furthermore, Topgolf will generate new economic activity in the form of new sales tax generated by patrons, many of whom will also visit other Monroe County merchants while visiting our community. And that's not giving tax dollars away, again, to a company. That's receiving new revenue from a new business establishment that would not invest in Monroe County without our support. Any other characterization assumes another investment of that scope with no incentive is forthcoming. And I think we all know that's just simply not the case. This is property that's been troubled, it's been vacant for quite some time. There's no reason to believe that another project will be coming forth that is of greater or equal size to be built on that property within the next 10 years that will generate more than $1.8 million for our taxpayers. Such statements need to be corrected because it really is a fundamental misunderstanding of the hard work that all of you do, and it makes your jobs harder. It makes your jobs harder when our residents look at these kinds of things in the media and on social media, and they come away thinking that you are handing away tax dollars when in fact you're generating tax dollars. You're generating employment for this community. Finally, under the terms being considered by the COMIDA board, Topgolf must also maintain at least 100 full-time equivalent employees throughout the project's lifespan. Topgolf projects right now the creation of 212 jobs with salaries well above Monroe County's median, offering benefits such as medical, dental, and vision insurance, a 401k plan, and continuing education benefits. Topgolf venues have a proven track record, and we know the facility attracts visitors from beyond our immediate community. This influx of tourists, an estimated $250,000 a year, will boost local businesses, including restaurants, hotels, other retail stores, and creating ripple effects that will benefit the wider economy. In approving this proposal, COMIDA is investing in a project that will yield substantial returns in terms of job creation, increased tourism, enhanced local business activity, and yes, revenue to Monroe County, the town of Brighton, and the school district. The tax incentives provided today will be recouped manifold through increased property values, high sales tax revenues, and a more robust job market. Topgolf's move here also is a signal to other high-profile businesses that we are a prime destination for investment. So again, I want to thank you for the work that you have done over the last 4 years. And I want to thank you for keeping an open mind as businesses choose to relocate here and new industries come here. In just the past years alone, you have invested in $4 billion of new investment here. New industries, world leaders such as Fairlife, who are choosing to build and grow and employ people here in Monroe County because we are a great place to do business. And businesses like that, with the employment that they bring much needed revenue, much needed jobs, and a much needed value in our quality of life. And so again, thank you for all the work that you do, and thank you for allowing me the chance to come here and sort of set this record straight so that you know that the community is behind you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next person signed up to speak is Don Jeffries, President and CEO of Visit Rochester. Welcome, Don.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be back. First of all, I want to thank the board for their help on the eclipse. It was spectacular. And I'm lucky Ann has kindly given us some time in the June agenda to give a full report back to the board, and I want to tell you it was great. Thank you. Okay, tourism, as the county executive mentioned, is an economic engine. $1 billion economic impact in Monroe County alone, 20,000 jobs. And yes, Howard, Norm, Jay, I'm going to keep it short. All three of you guys cornered me. I got it. 220 meetings and 135 sporting events a year. Meeting planners are looking for something different, something to do. You know, with all due respect to my friends at the convention center, that's not what it's all about. They want to be out in the community doing things. And it's important for us to have winter events to promote, winter attractions to promote in Monroe County, and this is it. We are a golf community. We're superstars in the golf community. We reached out to our counterparts, Valley Forge, Long Island, Chicago, Richmond, Frisco, Texas, and Albuquerque. And every one of these initial reports from these destinations includes observations affirming that visitors to Topgolf influence visitors, and they use our restaurants, our hotels, our museums, and other events. And so it's an economic engine. And Topgolf is family friendly. We promote Monroe County and the city of Rochester as a family friendly destination, and this is certainly one. The other thing about Topgolf location is that this would be the only one north of New York City. So that's a huge area that we can promote that tourism into Monroe County. They have 86 locations, proven track records in every single one of those. So I'm coming to the board today to say we fully endorse this as an investment in tourism. And on another note, I noticed behind me, I know Howard, time's up. The Del Monte Hotel Group is behind us. It's on your agenda today. I can tell you, Visit Rochester works with the Del Monte Hotel Group regularly, and they are a world-class organization. They really do a great job. They're a leader in the industry, and we fully promote what they want. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Our next speaker is Matt Hurlbut, President and CEO of Greater Rochester Enterprise. Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon. Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to get to come before you today. It's not much of a surprise. I'm also speaking in favor of the Topgolf project. I will note, with other capital investment going on across the county, across all areas of the county, most importantly Paralife and other companies that are choosing to stay here, expand, a feature like Topgolf, the brand name coming to this community signals a major investment, much like the Coca-Cola Paralife project does. It's also very important that other communities, Mobile, Alabama, Panama City, have also noted the location of the Topgolf as a recreational and a quality of life facility. Most of the folks who are going to be leveraging the facility are not all golfers. It's important as we look at attracting talent to this region as companies grow here to have assets like Topgolf that are a globally recognized brand. And yes, it'll be the second in New York State and allows us market dominance in the sense of upstate New York. When we talk about the quality of life here, it's worth noting that we're going to entertain 2 delegations that are coming to Rochester to understand the opportunity to invest in semiconductor-related technologies here. Not far from us, we have Edwards Vacuum, who's breaking ground on a significant expansion in that supply chain. So as we promote the region for investment, it's important to have an asset like Topgolf here, to have you support it. And I can guarantee that other communities up and down the thruway, if you don't do this, they will. It's a very competitive marketplace. They will offer incentives, if not equal to, more than this, and they're likely doing that right now anyways. I would encourage you to vote in favor for it, to bring this organization here, and then watch the spin-off effect as we see other investments across retail establishments, restaurant, tourism, quality of life that we need to keep people and keep businesses growing here. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Matt. I'd like to introduce Supervisor Bill Nally, the supervisor of the town of Brighton.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the board for hearing all of us here today. I'm Bill Maley, the Brighton Town Supervisor. I submitted a letter of support for this project that I think you read. Obviously, the Topgolf project, again, is what I'm referring to, but I do have some additional comments. About 12 years ago, shortly after I was first elected supervisor, Anthony Costello announced new plans for Citygate. When I attended the announcement, I saw the Costco, I saw all sorts of glossy drawings showing concepts for the property development on both sides of the city line. This borders right on the city of Rochester's town of Brighton line. The 19 acres in Brighton are landlocked. There's been scrub basically for decades, vacant. So I was excited at the prospect of development. Fast forward to last year. Although Costco and other parts of Citygate have been built, there's been no activity. We've not received any development proposals until now on the 19 acres in the town of Brighton. The land remained undeveloped and, as you heard, is generating only about $35,000 a year in combined school tax and county taxes. By the way, this is in the Rush Henrietta School District. For all those reasons, I was excited to hear about the Topgolf proposal. And 2 weeks ago, following a public hearing on our incentive zoning review process, the Brighton Town Board unanimously approved the Topgolf project. In Brighton, we're seeing that quality commercial development is a catalyst for additional growth. The Whole Foods Plaza, not just the grocery store, the Whole Foods Plaza is now 100% occupied in the face of all the naysayers. On Clinton Avenue, the planned Aldi's has already been the catalyst for the full lease out of the out parcel fronting on Clinton Avenue, with 4 tenants in that building currently under construction, even before there's a shovel in the ground for the Albies itself. But the potential for spin-offs from Topgolf is much greater. Topgolf is not just retail. There are no comparables to Topgolf in this market. Topgolf is a true tourism destination for everything from family outings to corporate team building. In fact, if you heard me on Evan Dawson's show last week, you learned how I first heard about Topgolf. A friend of mine went to a wedding in California. She is absolutely not a golfer, but the bachelorette party was held at Topgolf, and she loved it. And after she came home, she told me about it. Believe me, the buzz around Topgolf is real. I hear it wherever I go. Topgolf will be a signature destination, and as such, is fully consistent with the mission of COMIDA. We can't afford to risk losing Topgolf, when the project will generate far more in pilot payments than the raw land generates in taxes today. And of course, it will generate far more new jobs than the 0 jobs being generated in that raw land today. Thank you for the opportunity to speak for you, to hear Brighton's perspective on this very important project, and I do urge support for this proposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor. Okay. Next person speaking is Tim Starwald, a business agent with Ironworkers Local 33. And the subject is Fairlife. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. I didn't realize Topgolf was an issue or a topic today, but I'm here to say that I'm all about it as long as the ironworkers get the building. I was at a bachelor party at Topgolf in Virginia, and it was a great time. So I'm here to say it's a fun time, and it's a great investment that we can definitely be moving forward with. What I want to bring to light today is about local labor waivers. Right now, there are out-of-town workers doing work at the Fairlife project that my iron workers, our membership, people that live in our city or in our county are qualified to do, and they're sitting home not doing the work. That's what happens when waivers are approved. The specific waiver that I am alluding to is for a contractor, which was approved because there wasn't a contractor that had certain certifications, which I understand. But what that does is that effect, it trickles down to the local workers. The local workers are unemployed right now. I have 187 members, active working members, and a third of them are unemployed right now. There's a lot of work coming to Rochester, a lot of projects coming, a lot of projects being built right now. And I have a third of my membership unemployed, local members. So I left some information here, read it, look at it. There's documentation that there's pictures of local 33 iron workers doing the exact same work that they're doing at Fairlife right now by out-of-town workers. So please take in consideration what the local labor waiver does to these projects, to these local individuals that work here or live here, please. All right? Tim Starwald, Ironworkers Local 33 will build anything you got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great
Tim.
weekend.
Thank you very much. Another person who signed up to speak, Claudia Correa.
Hello,
Are you
everybody.
representing yourself, or is that an
I'm just representing myself, yeah.
Can you do me a favor and spell your last name?
Perea, P-E-R-E-A.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am obviously not dressed for this occasion. I only heard about the Top Flight Golf facility last week. and I'm coming from one job, going to another job. This is very similar to many people in this community, and so I speak, I hope, for many people in this community that don't have a voice here today, who are at work and can't take the time off. I want to just respond to a couple of the things that have already been said today. Objection to this project, Top Lake Golf Facility, is not a social media ploy. It is based on a proven track record, to use Mr. Bellows' phrasing, who he just left, he's not here anymore. It's a proven track record of tax incentives pulling money from local communities, especially urban areas. He talked about the workforce of the future, and I have to say that in the age of climate change and in the beginning of an age of energy and resource scarcity, we should be giving incentives to community organizations and food relocalization and projects that will revitalize the community, not just a, recreation. He mentioned that hotels and other retail stores would benefit. However, those stores are going to be in Brighton, are going to be in Fairport, in the suburbs. I highly doubt that tax revenue and that everybody will be traveling into the city to spend their money here in this community that needs it, and in other communities, the more rural areas that also need tax money. I'm going to get into some of the other details, but I'm still responding to everything that was said today. If the delegations that are coming here to expand semiconductor industry investment are here and they say, oh, there's no Top Flight golf facility, we can't invest there, we can't build a facility there, we're doing the wrong thing here then. I don't think that it should be only because of the recreation here that people would be investing in this city. This is a great city. People will come here, businesses will come here no matter what, because again, climate change, this is a haven for the impending climate crisis. So facilities will come here. We don't need Top Flight Golf to get the tax incentives to do so. Mr. Bello mentioned it's a landfill site and that nothing else is going there. Well, other companies could get incentives to go there and to reclaim that land. For instance, old mining projects through Virginia and West Virginia employ ex-miners growing lavender to rebuild the soil, and they sell the soap. Does that sound very big and exciting? No, but it's something for the community, and they employ local people. And that was just one idea as well off the top of my head. Now I wanted to get into a little bit of the history of these kind of tax breaks, and I did want to mention that from the New York State Assembly, they came out with a report. It says tax incentives, a failed approach. The state's heavy reliance on tax incentives is an economic development strategy that is a misguided approach. After many decades, there is little to show beyond a trail of political scandals. Going down a little further, at the same time that job creation results have been meager, political scandals have been in abundance. But let's talk more about how tax breaks strangle American schools. This is from theconversation.com. How tax breaks strangle American schools. Billions of dollars that could help students vanish from public schools, especially hurting districts that serve poor students. An estimated 95% of cities provide incentives to woo corporations. The upshot is billions diverted from urban school districts and from a growing number of suburban and rural districts. The impact is seen in areas as diverse as Chicago, Cleveland, Hillsborough, Oregon, and Story County, Nevada. So it's happening all over the place. As a result, the 2021 review of 2,498 financial statements from schools across 27 states reveals that in 2019, and this is a new report, in 2019, at least $2.4 billion was redirected for tax incentives. That still downplays the magnitude because 3/4 of the 10,370 districts did not provide any information on abatement agreements. But we go on. So we also have a report from the Colorado Department of Education, the National Education Policy Center. Students lose out as cities and states give billions in property tax breaks to businesses, draining school budgets and especially hurting the poorest students. One more. from governing.com. I'm not sure what the name of this article is because I was looking up a lot of things, but a study published, study after study, and again, this is from governing.com, study after study demonstrates that when states and cities give out tax breaks to companies looking to relocate or expand, they typically get very limited bang for their bucks, if any. Yet such incentives remain central to development strategies in most jurisdictions. I urge you that as you think about this, think about the history of what has come before. Please look into all of these resources. I am a very busy person. I work multiple jobs, and it's hard for me to see that I can easily find this information online. And I urge you to please as well look at the information and, you know, vote for the community. There are better businesses that could get incentives to come here. I don't think that Top Flight Golf Facility, one that is worth $4 billion, their company, Callaway, they don't need the tax incentives. We need better companies to come here. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And our last speaker is Rachel Barnhart, County Legislator.
Thank you so much for recognizing me. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to sign up. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it. The last time I was here was a few years ago to talk about Midtown Athletic Club. So when I came to talk about that project, I remember I was just able to come in and speak. And you know, that project, I opposed tax incentives for Midtown Athletic Club's expansion, and the county executive actually joined me in opposing those tax breaks, even though there was a similar spreadsheet showing the costs, the benefits outweigh the costs. And the reason given was, well, they'd come here anyway, even though, as we know, that's often a guess. Topgolf seems like a very nice project for Monroe County. It'd be great if they came here. But you have no idea if the benefits outweigh the costs. You have no idea how many people are coming to Topgolf from outside of Monroe County to use this facility who would not otherwise have spent money in our community. You have no idea if Topgolf will compete with other existing entertainment options in Monroe County. You have no idea if Topgolf will just compete with other restaurants in Monroe County. You have no idea how many Topgolf workers are going to require Medicaid and food stamps. A lot per their own salary figures. According to the information provided to you all, the average salary is $42,000 over a 10-year period. If you back into the starting salary, that's assuming 3.5% raises, it's about $17.35 an hour starting wage, and a majority of the jobs are part-time, and if people have children, they actually will qualify for benefits at those wages. Now, you have no idea the cost versus the benefits because you have not done an independent feasibility study, at least not to my knowledge. Studies by Topgolf, they don't count. And here's what we do know. Topgolf inflates their job figures. They inflate them on their press releases. It's definitely inflated on their application because if you look at their Long Island facility, they have fewer jobs than what they promise here, and it's a larger facility. And I'm glad the application online has finally been fixed to reflect that a part-time job is 0.5 FTEs, and I'm glad that they finally acknowledge we're not Montgomery County, we're Monroe County. And if that doesn't show you the sort of plug and play that these forms, these forms where you calculate the cost benefits, I mean, it's predetermined to show what you want it to show. We also know that Topgolf does go places that don't offer them incentives, and we know that if developers have already invested a lot of money in this site, they're unlikely to walk away. And if this $4.3 million tax deal makes or breaks the project, it doesn't sound like it was a very healthy project to begin with. Now, COMIDA should follow the example of the town of Brighton and get all of the tax money that it is owed to Monroe County. There's no reason that Monroe County couldn't have taken the same approach. And I really resent the characterization of subsidies as not being a gift. Topgolf, we would be awarding them $4.3 million in money they would not have to pay on this brand new facility. That's a gift. That's something of value. And if it didn't have value, they wouldn't be here asking you for it. And it sounds like a great project. They should pay to come here. They should pay all of it. Our community deserves that. So it sounds like I caused quite a stir, and I appreciate your thoughtfulness, and I appreciate the discussion on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, we have a very full agenda, so we'll get started on the work of the county.
Yeah.
So our first item is the local labor monitoring report, and we have Joe Spinelli here representing.
How's it going?
Yes.
I'm filling in for Kevin Loki, who is on vacation in Spain right now. Our March report, this report covers our site visit between March 1st, 2024 and March 31st. During this period, Loki Brill made 69 monthly site visits. During this period, Loki Brill made 3 follow-up visits. Loki Brill checked for residents with 525 workers. Of those workers, there were 7 non-compliant. There were 2 new COMIDA signs delivered. Any questions on that report? For April, this covers our site visits between April 1st and April 30th, 2024. During this period, Loki Brill made 77 monthly site visits. During this period, Loki Brill made 2 follow-up visits. Loki Brill checked for residents with 488 workers. Of those workers, there were 11 non-compliant, and there was 1 new COMIDA sign delivered.
Any questions for Joe? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Our next item on the agenda is the local labor exemption report. Ryan Fountain. LaFountain, sorry.
No worries. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I have 3 local labor exemptions to report on. Would help if I could read them. There we go. Okay, the first one is going to be at the Fairlight project. This exemption was for the tilt-up concrete scope of work, which essentially makes up a majority of the exterior walls as well as some of the interior walls at the facility in Webster. We did not, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, there were 4 local companies that responded in some way, shape, or form to this opportunity that was posted on Robex. All 4 of them ended up not having the requisite expertise to perform the full contract. So this, an exemption was provided to Flagship Tilt-Up Wall, and I believe that they are out of Florida for that project, for that scope of the project. That was the first exemption. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Brian, is there a specific part of that they didn't have the expertise? Can you elaborate a little more?
I can't elaborate, so I have a list here. So the first one, La Chase, was interested in the place and finish scope of this work. So they had a contract, a conversation with them, and La Chase provided a bid, but stated that they had no experience with tilt-up construction, as it is not a method of construction typically used in the region. That was La Chase. The second was Western Concrete, which was interested in the place and finish aspect of the project. And they stated they had no experience with tilt-up construction and asked questions regarding the finishing process that raised concerns for the applicant. Third local was AAA Reinforcing, and this was for a project that was or scope of the project called a Rod Buster, and this is reinforcing. They provided a bid to tie the tilt-up rebar, but also stated that they did not have experience with tying rebar and tilt-up panels. Fourth was Heidelberg, which was related to the concrete ready mix portion of the project, and they openly stated that they had no experience with tilt-up construction. So 4 locals responded with interest in it, but then also once seeing the drawings and everything that was involved, said they did not have the capability to do it, and then it went nowhere.
Thanks for the additional detail.
Sure. Troy has a question.
So the way it reads, the exemption was based on the no local labor available specialized construction criteria. And as we heard from Mr. Starwell, there is local labor certified qualified. So once again, this is a certificate for a contractor that shouldn't have any connection to local labor waiver. A contractor that comes in our backyard should still exhaust the resources we have here. So I would like that corrected, that it isn't due to no local labor available. As we heard earlier, there is local labor available to do this work. And there's proof that we can and have done this work. Now, we've done relationship with another contractor. Here is a new name, a new contractor coming in, doing what we've been fighting for on multiple projects before this one. So I guess I'd ask the governance committee to really dig into a certificate for a contractor qualifies local labor exemption.
Okay, thank you, Troy. Any other comments, questions? Yes, Brett?
So I guess to go along with what Troy's saying, I notice on all of these exemptions, it shows no local labor / specialized construction. Should it be one or the other, or should the language be a little bit different?
In their actual application that they submitted, it was based on specialized construction. Sometimes when I send a recommendation over to COMIDA, local labor / specialized construction, sometimes they're kind of overlap a little bit. But they did apply for it under the specialized construction criteria.
Thank you, Brian.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Brian.
Okay, next one. I have 3. Next one is similar. The next one is for the Fairlight project as well. And this exemption is related to the structural precast concrete portion of the facility to be installed at the project site. Essentially, it's including but not limited to the erection, patching, caulking, saw cutting, and auger helical installation of these concrete walls. The company that manufactures the walls, Fabcon, has their own employees that come and provide this installation. They are going to have their supervision here from Fabcon. These are actually Fabcon employees, not contractors, not subcontractors. They're going to supervise the project, and Fabcon has agreed, and they have some national labor agreements to reach out to local union halls to provide and support their crews that are going to be doing the installation, and they have agreed to this. To hire from the local halls or reach out to the local halls to fill out their installation crews.
So they have the management that's coming from Fabcon, and then
correct.
There'll be a portion of the workforce coming from the local union halls.
Correct.
Do we know what percentage?
I don't think we have a percentage. The entire crew is a number. 15 is going to be the total crew. I don't know about a percentage. They said it depends on when they get there what trades they need and what availability of the different trades are.
Okay.
Yes, Troy.
So we understand Fabcon does have relationship with local unions, not all. And in one case, there is a situation where the iron worker is excluded, and part of the 15, the majority of those 15 are the hoister, the rigger team. Once again, I want to make sure that we understand that Tim's members are more than certified and qualified to do this work. They're not certified because they're not the contractor, they're employees. I just would hope that we could pressure Fabcon to work with Local 33 and put some iron workers, as they will put bricklayers and an operator and laborers on this project. The professionals to hoisting and rigging these heavy concrete panels is the expertise of the iron worker. And we do have available unemployed iron workers that can assist this process. Again, a certificate from a contractor, not a certificate needed for the employee to do the work. And inside of Tim's literature, he will explain that he is the highest qualified, capable journey person to do this work. And it's another one to consider that we need to do better to try to exhaust our local labor.
Brian, the point that Troy just brought up, was that discussed with FabCon on that? And what was their, if it was, what was their?
Well, as far as they're concerned, there's nobody locally who has the expertise from a contractor point of view. Like, a contractor has to provide the supervision for everybody working underneath them.
Mm-hmm.
No local company at the contractor level, not at the employee, not at the tradesperson level. No local contractor has that certification in order to be awarded the bid.
Yeah, but my understanding is the FabCon employees, the one holding the certificate, that is now gonna be the supervisor. The supervisor's not gonna be boots handling and doing the work. The journey person's qualified to do this will be supervised by FabCon's employee that's certified through the company. So that should not be a conversation. It should be all about local, qualified people to do the job. And there's a loophole here with this certificate going to the contractor and not the technicians.
Actually, I mean, I don't know if it's a loophole, but it seems like we're already, in this particular situation, we're already down that road, right? FabCon's gonna have a certain percent, they're the contractor, right?
FabCon is the contractor, yes.
And they're bringing in a little bit of their folks.
They're bringing in their own employees to do installation.
Right, and then they're gonna be able to use some of the local labor.
Correct.
So to Troy's point on some of what is there opportunity for them to use more of local labor for the operations? And I'm just wondering whether those discussions happen. It's a good approach, right? I mean, it's like, okay, we're gonna try and use as much of our local labor as we can. Where that expertise doesn't exist, we're gonna bring in folks from the outside.
So, conversation did happen, and the conversation is difficult for them to answer as far as the mix of who they're going to need.
Okay.
Until they get out there and they see what trades and where they need the help, and they'll reach out to the various trades as they need to supplement their workforce.
Okay.
So I think it ahead of time, it's difficult because I'm going through that. We have another one that's in process right now, and I'm trying to get from them a breakdown of what trades they're going to use locally, and how many. That's difficult for them to answer up front.
So Troy, did they say they're not going to use the? I guess I'm just trying to.
I could list some FabCon projects that were enormous projects here. We witnessed the work. It's something we do. It's concerning that we continue to get a waiver for this type. They've dealt and did the right things on a couple of projects, but on a couple others they have.
It seems like they're doing it here as well. Like they're trying to use local labor and what Brian's saying.
So to break down the 15, the labor is going to be the one that's basically going to be moving and clearing. The operator's going to be running the crane that'll help with the hoisters. The hoisters and the riggers, you will have a minimum of 4 people to do the work, at minimum 4. So I'm asking that we should put 4 iron workers along with the 2 laborers, the 2 bricklayers, and the 1 operator. The hoisting and the rigging is the majority of the work. That's what's going to take the time, and you want to do it safe. FabCon's record for accidents on the job is not good nationally, and that's a concern I always have about safety. But when we have local folks here sitting out that are capable of doing this work, and we've proved it on multiple projects here on town, COMIDA projects, I wish that we could consider that FabCon might not have a relationship with the iron worker, but we need to encourage that they do when they come here and get an incentive.
Troy, what about the time frame that we've allotted to train people if a company like FabCon says that there's nobody trained? Is that going by the wayside? Local
33's training that is in place in their national training overqualifies them to do this work. Overqualifies them. I can't express that more.
Where's the disconnect?
It's a relationship.
I don't think there's a disconnect. I think the disconnect is it's their own employees doing the installation. They've agreed to hire locally. I don't know that we can legislate to them what percentage or what trades they're going to use, or, right? I mean, there's all kinds of nuances there, and I understand the nuances of it, right? The iron workers' rates are much higher than the laborers' rates. So obviously, locally, we'd like for them to hire as many iron workers as we can. But I don't know how you legislate that to them.
I'm just wondering, because you prefaced this with, we probably ought to take it
Yeah,
to
no.
governance, right? Sorry, Jay.
So no, I just, but
but-
thank you for giving,
Yeah.
I wanted to understand the
Right.
issue a little better.
Right,
And I've been able to do that.
but we can
Yeah.
certainly explore that
Yeah.
further.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
thank you,
Any other questions on that one?
Ryan. No?
I have one more. Keeping you guys all afternoon here. Okay. Lastly but not leastly, we had a project at the Gannett building. This project was for the installation of specialized storage container system. We didn't get a ton of details about it, but we reached out locally. We connected the applicant, Gannett Taylor Builders was the GC, and we sent to them and referred them 3 or 4 local contractors that we thought installation of a storage container unit. They reached out, they had conversations. It turns out none of them bid on the work. They felt like they weren't, I don't know if they were not able or they didn't fit into the time schedule or what it was, but none of them ended up bidding on it. And then so then we recommended the approval of Wider Storage Services Corp. To do the work. This was specialized construction criteria.
So does that go in the same bucket of
No.
bringing that up in
So,
governance?
if I may, Brian, the original conversation with this was, there was local people that bid this work. The delta was 3 times off kilter. Locally, I went back, took the drawing, went to a couple of the contractors here locally, broke it down, and that basically said, there's no way this outside wider whatever is coming in here and doing this work in 3 days. There's 3 weeks worth of work for at least 6 people here. My original understanding of this waiver was because of the delta in cost.
Are you talking about the,
No, that's a
that's
different
the
one.
other one?
That's
a different
IDA.
waiver.
They withdrew their
And
application.
they withdrew, they're not taking
They're not going
benefits.
forward.
Yeah,
Okay.
they didn't have any local bids. They bid it. They did not use the Robex Plan Room or Plan Hub. They did not use Robex system. They advertised it in other places.
Okay, so this was the
newspaper.
one where nobody bid.
This was not a cost differential. Nobody locally bid. We said, hey, we got folks that we think, we don't know the details of the specific project. We thought we had some local contractors. We referred them 3 or 4. None of them worked out and could do it, so we recommended the approval.
Thanks, Brian.
Sure.
Thank you, Troy. Thank you, Brian.
Any other questions? No?
Would you like some more?
Quite a number.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on our agenda is the financial report. Greg?
Yeah. Good afternoon. Financials through the first 4 months, April 30. Cash is down from year end about $4.5 million, mainly from the reallocation of those dollars into our investments. And as you can see from last month, our investments are down about $1 million as we let a T-bill mature, as we needed some of those funds for working capital for our future workforce development payments coming up here over the next 3 months. In terms of our revenue and our expenses, we did receive about $54,000 of fee revenue in the month of April, and that's lagging to where it was, certainly to budget and a little bit behind last year. But as we've talked about in the past, typically, 70% of our fee revenue ends up in the last quarter, and we're probably tracking pretty close to that as well. In terms of our expenses, the main expense right here is our workforce development program. As of April 30th, we have set aside or generated about $6.9 million of dollars based on our fee income allocated to that program. As of April, we have committed about $4.67 million against that 6.9, leaving us about $2.2 million left to commit as programs come before this board. Overall, you can see we have a significant deficit that we planned for and budgeted for. It is a little bit ahead of schedule, but I think a lot of that is timing. As fee revenue comes in the last quarter, I do anticipate that kind of leveling out and coming close to budget as we finish the year. That's about all I have.
If you look at year-to-date revenues, 24 versus 23, we're ahead of last year. Not in line with budget yet, but we'll get there as timing is usually an issue. And we're under budget on our expenses, so that's also a good place to be from a budgeting.
Correct.
So.
All good.
All good. Okay. Any questions for Greg? All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Next item on the agenda is Top Golf. Anna?
Thank you, Ann. If it's okay with the board, I'm just going to go off script for one moment because this is a much discussed project. I just want to start out by saying that COMIDA staff is professional. We take our jobs very seriously and we adhere rigorously not only to New York State economic development law and all the statutes pertaining to industrial development agencies, but we also adhere to our own transparency and accountability policies. We also possess a great deal of expertise when it comes to economic development. I myself have been in this profession for over 15 years and I'm planning to sit for the professional economic developer exam, and we've got a law degree and an MBA on staff. When we vet these projects, we take it extraordinarily seriously. Conversations with this applicant and the developer and their representatives have been underway for going on a year and a half now. These projects don't just materialize and land in our email inboxes and we print them and share them with the board. We take a long time to steward applicants through the process, and our economic impact benefits calculator is not a plug-and-play calculator. This is something that contains a great deal of economic data that's provided by the federal government, and it is an independent assessment. The MRB group provides that assessment for us. And I just want to go through some of the considerations that staff took into account when looking at this project. First and foremost, I'll point out that the terms of the proposed pilot under consideration today require Topgolf to create and maintain a minimum of 100 full-time equivalent employees over the life of the project. The only other project that's in the state of New York is on Long Island. That project is in 100% compliance with the terms of the Brookhaven IDA. I also want to point out that salaries at this location, as reported by the company, are above Monroe County averages, and Topgolf does offer medical, dental, and vision insurance, a 401k program for all employees, as well as education benefits. And the National Golf Foundation has cited Topgolf as having been recognized for employer awards in recognition of its DE&I efforts. New York State does restrict IDAs from supporting retail projects, but the statute outlines several exceptions, including tourism destination projects. These are defined as locations or facilities likely to draw significant visitors from outside of a project's economic development region as described in Section 230 of New York State Economic Development Law. Furthermore, that statute makes an exception to the retail prohibition for unique facilities, the predominant purpose of which would be to make available goods and services that wouldn't, but for the project, be reasonably accessible to the residents of any given community. Topgolf presents sufficient information that allows this board to qualify the project for benefits as either, although we are taking that tourism route today. Topgolf, its local developer, Caliber, and Streamline RE, as well as Visit Rochester, have each provided staff and Monroe County with information indicating that a significant percentage of customers can be expected to travel from outside of a 50-mile radius to visit Topgolf in the town of Brighton. And that information, as well as other supplemental data, is sufficient for us to make the determination that this project should be considered a tourism destination. And Caliber owns the site, and under the terms of the pilot, Caliber would continue to own the land upon which the facility is constructed. As the county executive pointed out, this is a former landfill site determined not to be adequate for many other applications, such as housing projects. Based on the market data provided by the developer and Topgolf, it's clear that the project represents a highest and best use case scenario for the former landfill site. And currently Topgolf doesn't own any real estate in Monroe County, nor currently carry risk associated with this project. Callaway Topgolf is known for meticulous site selection. They place significant emphasis on financial aspects of development and operational costs. These conversations, as I mentioned, started in earnest over a year and a half ago, and I urge the board to take the project application seriously, and also the comments that we heard from the public and some of the supporters that spoke out during our public comment section. And with that, I'd be glad to read the project description.
Thank you very much.
And I don't know that Joe Alaco was able to join us via Zoom. It doesn't look like he was able to, so. Okay. Topgolf USA RCH LLC is proposing to construct an approximately 48,282,000 square foot building in the town of Brighton. Topgolf will provide a unique golf entertainment venue with high-tech golf driving range games, full-service restaurant and bar, and an event space. The facility will have 80 hitting bays with a 205-yard long outfield, and it is expected to draw over 250,000 visitors annually. The town of Brighton and Topgolf will enter into a host community agreement whereby Topgolf will pay to the town an amount equal to the real property tax abatement provided under the pilot agreement, thereby making the town whole. The $39.8 million project is projected to create 212 full-time equivalent employees. Topgolf is seeking approval for an enhanced Jobs Plus real property tax abatement and sales tax exemption. Westfall Brighton SRE LLC is seeking approval for a sales tax exemption and a mortgage recording tax exemption. The benefit to incentive ratio is 32-1.
Thank you, Anna. I believe we have Betsy Brugh from Woods Oviatt Gilman here, as well as Todd Waldo, Director of Real Estate for Topgolf International, Inc.
I do not have We have some pictures. We can set up one room if people want to see them, but if you have not seen a Topgolf, these are some images. I'll put them around, that way nobody wants to touch them. So, my name is Betsy Brugh. I'm an attorney at Woods Oviatt Gilman. It is truly a pleasure to be here on this application tonight, this afternoon, I should say, with Topgolf and Westfall Brighton SRE LLC, which is the developer of the project. So much has already been said. It's a little hard to kind of fill in, so I don't want to kind of duplicate, but we have our team here to answer any of your questions. One of the things I think I want to focus on, just to get started, is to give you a little context and background. I was looking at Norm Jones here, who was with the city of Rochester for so many years and probably knows more about the history of this property than I do, but we can't miss the fact that this project, while in Brighton, has great significance, not just to Monroe County, but to the city of Rochester. So this developer, so this is Citygate over here, and this is our site in Brighton. It's a really complicated piece of property. You've already heard that it's blighted and a landfill, and it's been vacant for 20-something years. This was all part of the Iola campus that was once owned by Monroe County. It housed a youth correctional facility, a tuberculosis sanitarium, and then about 20 years ago, Anthony Costello, who had this great vision and
you know, bigger than life reputation in this town, decided he was going to take on this project. Nothing happened with the property really until about 2013, you know, something like 10 years later, when Costco came along. Coincidentally, Matt Lester, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, who is the principal of the development company that's doing this Topgolf project, he actually owns Caliber real estate, commercial real estate brokerage. He actually brought Costco to town and introduced Costello to Costco. So he has a long history with this property. He has since acquired ownership of the City of Rochester property, which is known as Citygate. People often refer to Topgolf as going into Citygate, but it's actually in Brighton, and it's actually not part of Citygate at this point. It's just this vacant landlocked piece of property. It has no road frontage, and in fact, the only way into this project is going to be from East Henrietta Road, straight through Citygate down here. And if you've been to Citygate, you've probably noticed the condition of Citygate. Nothing has really happened there since Costco. Some of the challenges with Citygate are that, unfortunately, Mr. Costello passed in 2016. But there's a facility right here that, you know, the smokestack building that's here, the iconic building, and right behind it is another building that's still owned by the county. It's got pipes and all kinds of unattractive things shooting out of it. It's noisy. It's been a deterrent to development in Citygate, but it is essential. It actually provides all the utilities for the community hospital, the county hospital across the street. So this can never go anywhere. That is there. So it's been a really challenging project to put together. But bringing Topgolf, which has chosen this site in Citygate to be in Monroe County, passed over Ontario County, passed over Buffalo, passed over Albany, they have chosen to be here. And the excitement that came with this project has done great things already. You have a hotel on your agenda today. Not just a hotel, well, I'll let them talk about their hotel, but I believe it's going to be a very high, probably the highest caliber hotel that we've had in the Rochester area, as far as the Marriott chain. We've had a little development over the years, but the thing just hasn't taken off. Since the announcement of Topgolf, Matt has secured users, tenants, for the remainder of Citygate. So there will be additional development here, most of which you will not see because it is retail and it will not be coming here for any kind of tax incentives. So we're really excited about what this means to Citygate. This is really, Costco started kind of the synergy here. Topgolf is really going to solidify Citygate as really our regional central destination for people coming into our area. It's visible from 590, it has close proximity to the thruway. It's really a fantastic synergy that we're seeing, and Topgolf is just a really exciting opportunity. There's been a lot said about them, and I should say Todd Waldo, their Director of Real Estate Development, is here today. He's come in to answer questions and present some information about what Topgolf means for this, not just for the site, for Monroe County. They have tremendous economic impact everywhere they go. We're really excited to have them. We're happy to answer any questions you might have. Todd, I don't want to steal your fun. I'm going to make a golf pun. I wanted to tee it up for Todd.
Good. Thanks, Betsy.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Topgolf. Today marks a major milestone. With your support, we're hoping to bring the first Topgolf to Western New York. There's been some talks already. This will be the second in the state. This is one of our newer concepts that's family-friendly, community-focused. We've been looking for a long time in upstate New York for a number of years. And one of the reasons why we're here today is because of the visionary leadership at the county, at the town, and just certainly opportunity with the regionality of this site and location as well. But it comes with a lot of challenges. There's been a lot of discussion today about the property itself. Everybody should have hopefully a handout that we passed around with the site plan and just some project highlights. A lot of this has been mentioned already today, but just to focus on that, we have a wonderful partnership with a local developer in Streamline that has brought forth this opportunity to kind of bring new life to a blighted, vacant property that's generating very little revenue for anybody. It has significant environmental constraints. It's a former landfill. In conjunction with our partner at Streamline, we're going to put safeguards and controls in place to again, make it a safe place to develop and bring some economic regeneration to the area. In conjunction with the Topgolf development, it's been alluded to, there's a hotel project here that will be presented, but all of this property between Topgolf, the future Topgolf in the town of Brighton, and Henrietta Boulevard, or Henrietta Road, all of that's set for redevelopment as well, in addition to the economic synergies that this will create across the greater Rochester area. This is a huge tourism attraction as well. Closest Topgolfs to Rochester are in Cleveland and Pittsburgh, so we're 250 miles away. Based on the performance of those venues, we have data that suggests that we have a lot of visitors that are traveling 50 miles or more away to go be a patron at those venues. So we feel that will happen here in Brighton as well. We're creating 300 permanent jobs. There's been a lot of discussion about jobs today. Those are 300 permanent jobs once the venue is operational. We give full-time benefits to all of our employees that work 30 hours or more. There's been discussion about the type and quality of the benefits that we provide. All of that is factual information. We will create 200 plus permanent jobs during construction. The lifespan of this construction project is about 10 to 12 months. So it will also generate tons of tax revenue beyond what exists today. So we're hopeful for your support. Certainly there's a lot of things that I know there could be questions about Topgolf coming to town. I think there's been some discussion about some of the community benefits that we offer. We've shared that with the town, we've shared that with the county executives, but we're really about supporting the local communities through charitable events, donations, and volunteering. One of our big initiatives is the Youth Play It Forward initiative. That started back in 2017. It's across all of our venues in this country, and it really is an opportunity to partner with local nonprofits and others that sponsor and mentor the youth. Give them an opportunity to partake in the game of golf, and we offer free game play for them during the weeks, during specified time periods. We also have national partnerships with Make-A-Wish, First Tee, Folds of Honor, Bunkers in Baghdad. I think a lot of folks have heard of that before, but we're committed to being a long-time community partner here and a good corporate citizen. We're going to work with Streamline on entering into a 20-year long-term lease for this property. But I will say all of this that we've talked about today would not be possible if not for the topic of discussion for today with the incentive. There's a lot of barriers to entry in the state of New York and for this site in particular. And this helps it make it be viable for not only our project, but for others that will be within the City Gate project as well. So again, I know there's been a lot that's been discussed today, some concerns, some questions, so we're happy to answer those today. But we're very hopeful for your support and making one step closer to bringing Topgolf to a reality. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Todd. Questions from the board? Troy?
Not so much a question, but a comment. After 45 minutes of hearing how huge, sitting on this board, I don't think we've ever vetted out a project for this long in a meeting, ever, okay? But I would highly recommend to do yourself a favor, to squash some of the naysayers and really look to Topgolf and Streamline and put a project labor agreement on this for the construction of this project. If you're talking community, you want to lift up your geographical regions, let's start with the construction. So not to throw another project under the bus today, but these local waivers is dear to my heart for this community. And the only way you do it is with a project labor agreement. So I would ask, consider that, and sooner than later come out and announce that. Let us help you get this project done on time, under budget, schedule, and being it's a blighted area in a Brownsfield, I think it's a Brownsfield, if I'm correct, is that what we're?
I It's a former landfill
Former
site. I don't know
landfill?
that the state has designated it as such, but.
Well, okay, so just putting the shovel in the ground on such a dangerous, possible dangerous site, once again, I would highly recommend the professionals that know Monroe County, the area, so nobody gets exposed and we do the right thing and there's no covering up of situations with that area and that property. So let us help you, if I could say. Please have that conversation. I know this has nothing to do with the COMIDA board, but after everything that we've been hearing about this project, let's take it to the next level. You want incentives? Take it to the finish line here.
Thank you, Troy. Did you want to respond?
Yeah, we're very familiar with the local labor laws here. Topgolf is a very unique, specialty built construction. We have a national design build contractor that we work with that bids things out locally in the local marketplace, competitive bid. So we're going to go through all of those steps. We're very aware of the Builders Exchange. We'll work with that to identify qualified contractors, and we'll put our best forth efforts out there. We've got 100 total venues, globally now, and we have a construction partner that's very good at building our Topgolf venues. So we'll look into that further, and we're very aware of the local labor laws.
I appreciate that, but I'm asking you to take it to the next level and entertain the thought of a project labor agreement. And I can have that conversation, we can have a sit down and talk about it, but that would take this to the finish line, in my opinion, if you include the construction worker getting this out of the ground to support the 200 full-time employees.
I can't comment to that right now, but we can evaluate.
I'm just entertaining. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Jay?
Can you talk to me, so I heard that there's a ground lease and then, so I guess if you can just give some more details on how this is structured and how the benefits are flowing through, and I'm trying to better understand that. So, I mean, the sales tax exemptions are pretty straightforward.
Yes,
I'm trying to understand specifically the property tax.
We'll enter into a long-term lease with our development partners. I don't know, Betsy, if you want to speak to that a little bit as well, but.
It's actually fairly straightforward. It's a ground lease. The developer is taking out a $25 million mortgage and giving Topgolf, significant tenant improvement dollars, and it will be built into the lease term. And very straightforward.
All that flows through the rent.
Okay. Is it a triple net lease? Is it a gross lease?
I can't give you the terms.
It is.
It is triple net.
Okay.
We have a confidentiality agreement in place, so we can't really discuss the nitty-gritty of the lease.
Yeah, right now that the developer doesn't own the property, so we're working towards that.
They're a contract vendee.
Okay.
They own City Gate. This is under contract. It's a very challenging property to develop.
Yeah, we've been working with them for over 2 or 3 years now to bring it to fruition. So there's been lots of challenges, lots of obstacles. Certainly, we're talking here today about a very important milestone to bring the project to viability. Any other questions?
Thank you. All right. There was a public hearing held on this project on May 16th. Rachel, any comments from that?
There was public attendance, no one signed up to speak, and all comments that we received were written, and Robin did read one of the comments into the record, but no additional comments at the public hearing.
I think we've received.
And the board has received all written comments to date, yes.
Okay. All right. So Todd, I'll ask you some local labor questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you aware of our local labor policies?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
Yeah, I don't know that for certain at this point in time, but as I mentioned earlier, we're going to bid it out locally. It's a competitive bid, but it will be highly involved on the Builders Exchange to source and identify qualified contractors in the area.
Okay, thank you. And are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The seeker process is complete. I'm going to ask now for a motion.
Before, I just want to make a comment quick.
Sure.
I just really want to talk about the history of this complex, where it was and where it would have been if we didn't have two leaders who decided to take Costco on. That was Maggie Brooks, when she is the county exec, the incoming mayor, Lovely Warren. She wasn't even mayor yet, she was mayor-elect. They met in December of 2013. They sat down, they said Costco was too important to this community to let it go. And you know what? They were right. They came in, they sat, they discussed it, and they made it work. Later on in the process, sitting in Costello's office with Anthony Costello and his team, there was another issue. We were having problems with the utilities, and they asked the city for help. We came in there, we sat down with them and made sure they had utilities. We also met with them, they talked about the road, putting in the infrastructure for that. We sat down, we made that happen. Has anyone been to Costco's on a Saturday morning?
Not for the faint of heart.
Well, you don't go there, but that's all right. You don't have to use that enough. What goes on at Costco's on a Saturday morning is just totally amazing. That whole site is just amazing. Watching the people there, the gas, and it took leaders to step out of what was comfort to them, their comfort zone, to move that forward, to make that a reality. Costco's is important, and sites like this and development here in this area are important to the city and the county and the region. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? All right.
I wish I could tell you what's coming next, but we're really excited about what Topgolf will bring to City Gate.
Yeah, again, with your support, our goal would be to start construction later this year, open towards the end of 2025. So again, as I mentioned, this is a very important milestone today to bring this project forward. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. So I'll ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a sales tax exemption, partial mortgage recording tax exemption, and a partial real property tax abatement. Moved by Rhett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Norm. Any additional questions? All those in favor, well, I'm going to take a roll call.
Getting excited there.
Yeah, that's right. Racing to the finish line. Joe is absent. Norm?
Yes.
Rhett?
Yay.
Lisa?
Yay.
Troy?
Yay.
Ann is a yay, and Jay
No.
is a no. Okay, motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate all
coming
the
to Monroe
work that has
County.
gone into getting us here today. Thank you.
Very important. Okay. The next item on the agenda is Del Monte Development LLC. And we have Alex Del Monte, CEO and President, with us. Anna, you want to give us?
Del Monte Development LLC is constructing a new 114,000 square foot hotel with 191 rooms in the city of Rochester. This new facility will be a dual brand hotel concept featuring The Element by Westin for extended stay and AC Hotels by Marriott to accommodate business travelers. This project is located in a City Gate development and aligns with the original concept for the complex. Del Monte Development LLC plans to create 33 new FTEs. The $42.8 million project is seeking a custom real property tax abatement supported by the City of Rochester, mortgage recording tax exemption, and sales and use tax exemption. The cost to benefit ratio is 10-1.
Okay, so welcome, Alex, and you have more you'd like to share on your project.
My name is Alex Del Monte, CEO of the Del Monte Hotel Group. We have actually This site is probably now the third time that we have actively looked at it. We looked at it with Anthony Costello. Unfortunately, with his passing, that didn't come to fruition. And we're excited to be back here with what is going to be, is proving out to be an exciting project with the Topgolf finish coming in. Our hotel site is right here, next to the REI, so we're going to be facing the canal. And I really appreciate the consideration and support of the COMIDA board and the city of Rochester is making, and it's going to help go a long way with making this vision of ours a reality. So both of these hotels are lifestyle brand hotels, which is what the modern traveler is looking for. A portion of the hotel will be extended stay, which has kitchenettes, one bedrooms and studios that will be for long-term stay travelers that are coming to the city of Rochester for work or families looking for larger rooms with children. The AC Hotel is a new brand by Marriott as well, and is a high-end business traveler hotel that will have really beautiful lobby, great bar space, access to the canal, and really activate the area, bring people in from the outside, hopefully draw people in from walking down the canal as well. So both brands are new to the Rochester market, so they're the first of its kind in Rochester. And really these are two very exclusive brands that, similar to Topgolf, are coveted by any real estate developer to be able to bring to a market, and there's a diligent review process by Marriott to make sure that these will fit into the area where they're being built, and really are focused on either urban centers or mixed-use developments such as this. As mentioned, we are anticipating 35 full-time equivalents approximately when the hotel is complete, and our contractor estimates that there'll be about 190 to 200 plus jobs on the construction side. So to close here my remarks, I just thank you for the opportunity to present to you. This is a similar to Topgolf, an important milestone to get this project moving forward, and we wouldn't be able to do it without you. So I appreciate everything that you've done so far, and if you have any questions, I'd have to answer them.
Okay, questions from the board?
What's the current occupancy rate for hotel rooms in the Rochester area?
67.5. Thank you. So
Plus or minus?
So it depends on the product and the location. We feel that there is a need and demand for additional rooms in this market, given the location between Henrietta, the Monterey Community Hospital, and the U of R. I mean, you have this is a site that will draw from the airport, right? So it's centrally located, two great brands, and we feel that the demand will be there.
I'm concerned about, there's a lot of hotels in that area. There's hotels across the canal, over by U of R, you've got a bunch of hotels. Can you speak to, God bless, can you speak to the impact on those hotels? Because I think they're not full. They're still relatively vacant, and we're providing a tax subsidy or a tax benefit to you folks that we're not to the others. And
absolutely. So 67.5% occupancy is not occupant. So the way hotels.
I mean, nationwide is, I know hotels are coming back.
Probably 70% maybe nationwide. It's probably similar. Really,
that's the data when I looked it up. Yeah, just kind of weird. And markets where there's hotels are tight are up in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Sure, like urban New York City markets, there's higher occupancy. Yeah. Really, the mix. There's two components to the successful hotel, and it's occupancy and rate. So we own two hotels in the market, right? Two of the hotels that you described are ours. We have the Courtyard across the street, and we have the Hilton Garden Inn at Collegetown. So the impact that will be felt by those hotels will be felt by us. And we are confident that there still is demand, that we won't be degrading those two properties significantly.
Yeah, but there's others that are owned,
There are others there
they're
as
owned
well.
by others.
I mean, there's always new hotels coming to the market, and you know, it's I don't believe that there will be a fair impact, especially because of the branding. You know, branding drives so much of this. If you look at Henrietta, there is a Fairfield. That's the only Marriott brand in Henrietta right now.
Yeah, just down the road, there's the Hilton property, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean, if I were to put a compass and draw a 2-mile radius, there's a lot.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I drilled it over the weekend just to take a look.
Absolutely.
There's-
And the customers are loyal to their brands to a certain extent. So we will see, Marriott customers coming to our hotel. Our Hilton customers that are Hilton Garden Inn will, continue to stay at the Hilton Garden Inn because they're loyal to that brand. But what we're seeing is with the expansion of the U of R and with just the continued growth of their medical center, we're seeing more and more demand, especially for patients coming in, needing long-term stay accommodations, which we're currently not able to handle. The closest long-term stay hotel is the Residence Inn on Jefferson Road. So this will be a convenient location for people coming in for those types of services to stay closer to the hospital with more amenities around them.
Thank you. And hotel is considered retail as well?
It is, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you for that. And there was a public hearing on May 16th on this project. Rachel, were there any comments?
No comments.
No comments? Okay, I'll ask you our local labor questions also. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes, I am.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
At this time, no. We'll be working closely with our contractor to make sure that we
meet the local labor. Yeah. Are you aware of that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes, I'm aware.
Thank you. The seeker process is complete. Any other questions? All right, I'll ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving the sales tax exemption, partial mortgage recording tax exemption, and a custom real property tax abatement. Is there a motion? Moved by Rhett, seconded by Norm. Any other comments, questions? Okay, I'll take a roll call vote. Joe is absent. Norm?
Yes.
Rhett?
Yay.
Yes. Lisa?
Yes. Yes.
Troy?
Yay.
Ann's a yay, and Jay?
No.
It's a no. All right, motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Best
much.
of luck to you.
I really appreciate it. It's very much looking forward to developing this and bringing it to the market. Thank you.
We are as well. Thank you very much. Okay. Moving right along. The next project is the McGuire Family Properties, Inc., and we have Representative Spencer Reed. The builder, Dennis McGuire, is sick. Sorry. That's what my note says.
That's okay, no problem.
But I'd like Anna to start us off with the description of the project.
Thank you. McGuire Family Properties Incorporated, a real estate holding company, is constructing a 40,000 square foot addition for its tenant Atlantic Plywood Incorporated in the city of Rochester. API is the leading wholesale supplier of quality hardwood plywood and panel products on the East Coast. This expansion will provide space for the tenant to expand its operation by adding functionality and product lines currently not handled at the site or in this area. The project projects to create 5 new FTEs in addition to FTEs. McGuire Family Properties Incorporated is seeking a real property tax abatement mortgage reporting tax exemption and sales tax exemption for its $4.6 million portion of the project. The tenant is seeking approval of a sales tax exemption on a $600,000 racking system. The cost to benefit ratio is 7-to-1.
Okay, thank you, Anna. So tell us more.
Sure. So my name's Spencer Reed. I'm the president of Mitchell Design Build. Dennis McGuire apologizes. He's quite ill. He couldn't make it today, so we apologize. Project is an addition to the southwest corner of the former Valio plant, Lyle Ave, which Mr. McGuire and his family owned for going on 40-some years. That facility is almost completely leased up at this point, and fortunately, he needs some additional space for Atlantic Plywood. They're looking to bring some new products into the market locally that aren't currently serviced here. So we've worked with them to design a 40,000 square foot addition off that southwest corner, which will house a new employee and kind of retail market entrance, if you will, for local customers, as well as contractors who are coming to pick up, prefab products and so on. New loading docks, and then about 36,000 square feet of additional warehouse and light production space. Small, minor site changes are also required for truck turning and so on, but nothing major on the site. I can answer anything else. I don't want to bore you too much with something that's relatively straightforward from a building standpoint.
But you did consider other alternative?
Yes, yeah. They were looking at consolidating into the Syracuse market, moving out of this region, or out of the Rochester, direct market. And Mr. McGuire is trying to keep him here to bring this product down here.
Questions from the board?
How much of the Valio plant is still vacant?
I can't answer that officially just because Mr. McGuire does all the leasing and I'm just a contractor in this. But I know that the only spaces that are directly left are very interior spaces to the facility, which require long hallways and significant walks down narrow hallways and so on, which clearly wouldn't work for this tenant.
And the impact of losing this tenant would be what would that do to the capacity or the loss of space utilization?
They're currently leasing about 42,000 square feet in that southwest corner, which is a difficult area of the site because of some existing soil issues and so on. So it would empty that space out in that corner. I don't know from a demand standpoint because I'm not on the leasing side of that as well.
Thank you.
Reduce a significant area.
I think it's an exciting project despite everybody leaving. Don't take offense. Don't take offense to that. You had mentioned that these folks are going to supply along the East Coast. Do you have a sense of the geographical reach that they're looking at all?
So I believe this specific product that they're looking to bring in, they would be servicing Buffalo to almost all of the areas.
Okay.
And then down to the southern tier.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, we had a public hearing that was held on May 16th. Rachel, any comments from that meeting? Okay, thank you. I'll ask you our local labor questions. You probably have them memorized at this point. Had to be in your brain before you even walked in. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Absolutely, yes.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
We do not. We completed the PICO manufacturing project for the same, for the wire, and no exemptions were required on that. So same group of contractors.
Great. And are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
We are.
Yes, okay. Any questions by the board? From the board? Other questions? Okay. The seeker process is complete, and now I'll ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a sales tax exemption, partial mortgage recording tax exemption, and a partial real property tax abatement.
I'll make a motion.
Moved by Lisa.
Second.
Seconded by Norm. Any other comments, questions? I'll take a roll call vote. Joe is absent. Norm?
Yes, I agree with Jay. It is an interesting project.
Okay. Rhett
Yay.
and Lisa,
Yay.
Troy,
Yay.
Ann's a yay, and Jay.
Yay.
So that's unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you very much, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, the next item on our agenda is the Galena Elm Grove LLC. And we have Evan Galena here with us, and so is Andy. So, welcome. I'll have Anna kick it off for us.
Thank you. Galena Development is proposing the construction of a 33,900 square foot office warehouse building in the town of Gates. The project will join 14 existing buildings in the Elm Grove Crossing Business Park. This building is considered a flex property designed to meet the demand for light industrial and flexible spaces and will be divided into suites for tenants to be identified. The applicant is seeking approval of sales tax exemption and mortgage reporting tax exemptions only, and the benefit to incentive ratio is 6-1.
Okay, Evan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Tell us more.
Absolutely. So this is a spec building that we're proposing to build at 275 Mile Crossing, or Elm Grove Crossings Park. The last of 2 lots they have available there. Based on what we've seen in the market, there's an incredible demand for industrial space, flex space, and there's not any supply. We're effectively full in our market. It's not that there's space available that people are trying to maneuver with. It's that people are making a difficult decision whether or not they can stay in this county based on the product that's available. So by building on spec, we're taking the risk, we're carrying that risk, and we're hoping to attract tenants from across the county. The building that we're in the process of completing at 475, which you guys have already approved benefits for, we've leased to 2 national tenants. This building we have pre-leased to 1 national tenant, and as of this morning, we got approval for another 10,000 square foot user there. I believe that 10,000 square foot user is going to have some job creation. For the tenant that's a national, they're a medical supply company, they're downsizing from 100,000 square feet to 16,000 square feet. The space that they're downsizing from, to my understanding, has already been leased. That's how quickly we're filling space in Rochester. And if we can't continue to grow, there's going to be difficult decisions that are going to be made. So with that, we're trying to put together products in a cost approach that does not price us out of the market. The cost of construction is increasing at a faster rate than our rental rates are. That creates a large issue for us and essentially puts a trap on construction in our market. So we sat around our conference room table about a year ago and said, if we could build 100,000 square feet at our office park, tomorrow we would lease it. Well, we built 34,000 square feet, we leased it. We broke ground on this building, we have 26,000 square feet accounted for. We believe that demand will continue. All of our other flex product is full in Rochester. We don't have space to offer. We are turning away tenants 2 or 3 times a week because we don't have any product. And that's not just from us, that's from other developers as well. We're hearing from the brokers. I provided the CBRE report for 2023 outlining those demands and where the holes in our market are. So I hope everyone had the opportunity to read through that. Very insightful, extremely credible group there. And we continue to face challenges in our local market from a utility standpoint, from electric and some of the other regions within our county. So we're hoping to continue to bring space online that provides a strong solution to companies that are looking to call number one home.
And electricity is not an issue.
Not an issue.
No.
Someone planned for that a long time ago.
I wonder who that was.
What do you think about it, Andy?
I think Evan has covered it in its entirety. We have a track record. You know, I sit here and I think about coming to this board. I've been coming for probably 30 years on projects, and many of them over the years have been inspected. And we used our expertise and our knowledge of the market to create a product that was well received. We always executed. We always did what we said we were going to do. not only in our flex product, as our relationship with downtown Medford, we're doing what we said. This is a product that it's like a shoe salesman without shoes. To continue to take advantage of the strength of our industrial base in Monroe County, we have to provide functional, good, quality flex and industrial space. And that's what we are doing. The fact of the matter, we started this project, put it out on paper, we're already 3/4, 80% full before really breaking down. So I think it's really important. I think this is a project that speaks to the county's desire to keep our growth going in the right direction. So thank you for your consideration of this. We will continue to support anything in the county, job growth, and we will continue to execute as we propose.
Evan did do a good job. I just wanted to hear
He was doing just fine.
I think they both did a good job. Just, one quick, this property, that's what we're all hoping for, is a real vibrant economy where we do have this need and this demand. Simple question, when you have that demand, why is it that you need the tax incentives? I mean, it seems like if you don't, the demand is so robust, people should be putting these up. I mean, you just mentioned it yourself.
This little bit will help us be competitive.
Okay.
Evan referenced it. These are our expenses, our costs are going much higher than what we can get for rent.
Well, what it does is it allows different price points in our market. The mom and pops of Monroe County cannot compete with the nationals at $11 or $12 triple net leases on industrial space. They need lower not second tier, but second generation space that was built 5, 10, 15 years ago that come in at $5 or $6 a square foot triple net. So I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I brought the mission statement of COMIDA with me today. And it references a healthy economy, the welfare of the people, and preventing unemployment and economic deterioration. If you have price points that are too high, you will create economic deterioration in our county. So job creation is great. We love talking about that. We want to grow. But with what's looming on the horizon here from an economic standpoint, I think we need to also think about job retention and creating opportunities for everyone to succeed equally. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, to some degree. And Andy, I got a great deal of respect for what you guys did. Just what you did at the Metropolitan and Innovation Square. I'm speaking specifically about specs of this flex in this warehouse space, because I did read the CBR report, and this is not only something both here in Rochester, but you guys know nationally, that there's just huge demand for this. And so that's where my question comes, when we look as an agency, right, I mean, it's one of the things that we want to consider is at the end of the day, we want to support the economy, but things that are where there's robust demand and everything, do we really need to get involved? That's where my question gets in, and when we have this kind of demand, like I said, it puts a smile on my face. That's what we're all here for, is to have
It's
that.
a resounding yes.
Yeah.
The little bit that you can help will help us remain competitive in the market, simply put.
Thank you.
Yes, we need your help.
And if I could chime in just for a moment, I know we still have Matt Hurlbut here from Greater Rochester Enterprise. I'm sorry to put you on the hot seat, Matt, but if you have any comments, if we could avail ourselves of your expertise,
sure.
An independent lens on the need for this kind of real estate inventory in Monroe County.
Well, I think you've seen the CBRE. I can come up if you want.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't give you advance notice.
There's no more media microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So yes, there's a huge need for industrial space. We're putting out site searches every day. In fact, I think we put 2 out this week. So good space, and which is allowing smaller companies to grow. A lot of our activity right now, we've got about 75 active projects, and 60% are in the expansion realm. So smaller companies that are growing, which is why one of the reasons why you support the economic gardening program. So space like this will get filled up very quickly, and frankly, we want more of it. That goes with site development and some of the other things that we need that we've been talking about. So there's a huge need for it. And I think quoting some other realtors, they say there's about a 6% vacancy
It's really more like 3. Some of those old buildings are very particular to prior industrial processes. So the newer space, such as it being proposed, it's flexible, it can accommodate modern manufacturing practices, is high need in the market, and it would help us too. To quote Deloitte, if we don't have a site, if you don't have the facility, there's no project. And it's as simple as that.
Thanks, Matt.
And so many of our flex
Thank you,
tenants support these larger products. Supply chain components and everything that you can imagine how our economy functions. So it's wonderful to get these big killer, marquee projects. But many of our smaller flex products and flex tenants help support that growth in that supply chain.
Especially in that geography too.
Hey, Matt, quick question, just what's preventing us from, so we have what, 34,000 square feet here? What's preventing more of this from being built?
I think if you look traditionally, there have been some studies. Invest Buffalo Niagara did a study with Newmark, and if you look at traditional real estate, we've had this conversation with our investors and at our board. There's a very conservative investment strategy as opposed to building on spec. Some are more aggressive than others, so we appreciate this. We've talked to other developers in the market, and they're a little hesitant to put up 50,000 square feet on an if-come basis. Even with the numbers being the way they are, there's, real estate costs are going up, interest rates are spiking. It is very complex to build. I should probably stop before I say something I'll regret, but agency perspectives and getting things built are very expensive in New York State. So a lot of people, if they're doing business in other geographies, are choosing not to unless they've got a bird in the hand. And that puts us in a dilemma, meeting some of the things that we need to move forward.
And how many other developers are building on spec right now, taking that risk and money?
There are a couple that we've talked to that are still, they've got plans, but they haven't started to build yet. So I think AdQuest might be one. I'm not certain of others. We've had some conversations, but again, it's really putting shovel in the ground is different than having a plan and looking at pre-permitting.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you for that. We had a public hearing on May 17th.
No comments.
No comments. I'll ask you our local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
No.
And are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes.
Great. The seeker process is complete. I'll now ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a sales tax exemption and partial mortgage recording tax exemption. Take a roll call vote.
You need the motion.
No, I need the motion first.
I move.
Thank you, Norm. It's been a long meeting.
Second.
And seconded by Lisa. Any other comments, questions? Okay. I'll take a roll call then. And Joe is absent. Norm?
Yes.
Brett?
Yay.
Lisa?
Yes.
Troy?
Yay.
Ann is a yay. And Jay?
Yes.
Yay. So that's another unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
both of you
Thank
for
you very
coming
much.
to represent the project. Okay, next one is 49 East. This is the way we get our money's worth out of these people who are volunteering for all that. But 49 East Avenue LLC, and we have page here, Gary Izzo, Director of Financial and Capital Markets. And would you like to walk us through it?
Of course, thank you. 49 East Avenue LLC, a real estate holding company, is redeveloping an unoccupied 65,000 square foot office building in the city of Rochester. This facility will consist of approximately 54 residential units for medical students in residency at Rochester General and Unity hospitals. Units will consist of 21 studio, 31 bedroom, and 3 two-bedroom apartments ranging from between $1,234 and $2,403 per month in rent. 49 East Avenue LLC plans to create 1 new FTE as part of this project. The $19 million project is seeking a shelter rent property tax abatement mortgage reporting tax exemption and sales tax exemption, and the cost to benefit ratio is 3 to 1.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. 49 East Avenue, a little history, well, two things. First off, is right next door to our office building for Reedman, which is 45 East Avenue, so 49 East Avenue, right next door. The history of 49 East Avenue is that it was once owned by Neisner's. If you remember the discount retailer, it was, so there's a historic significance there as far as they were big until the 70s, I believe it was, as a discount retailer, and that was a building that they utilized as office and display, I believe it was. Reedman purchased the building in 2008 approximately, and we have just held on to the building for a period of time. We have a relationship with LECOM, which is the Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine, and their students lease from us down in Elmira and Erie, Pennsylvania. So we have this built-in relationship with them. The college has an agreement with Rochester Regional Health to for 100 students annually to be coming up here for clinical rotation. And so this actually provides a way for them to seamlessly move from properties that they've already been in that are owned by Reedman, to move up here, relocate here, kind of like familiarity with us while they're working on their clinical rotation assignments. We have also, as far as this project is concerned, in addition to coming to COMIDA, we have also working on historic tax credits for this property due to its age and significance. And we have also applied for Restore New York assistance with this property. So it's a lot to redevelop this property and to get it to where it's supposed to be. And all of these pieces help immensely with getting that transformation completed. One of the other things that is part of this that we can look at is the area where this is located is Easton Chestnut. And if you have been at Easton Chestnut, 49 in the parking lot next door to it, which is also owned by Reedman Corp and is part of this project, have been there for quite a long time, and there's not much activity, and this will help start a rejuvenation, we believe, in the Chestnut East Avenue area on that particular corner. As you know, the RG&E building is also, and its parking lot is also unoccupied at the current time. So as you go down that East Avenue, you come from the Chestnut area, there is not much in that way, in addition to the other buildings that are just down Chestnut that you're aware of, like the Cadillac Hotel, etc. So we're hopeful that this starts a rejuvenation in that part of the corridor of East and Chestnut. Can I answer any questions?
Questions?
How long is the agreement between RGH and
I don't know that exactly. It's been a number, can I defer? 10 years.
10 years, okay. And how long would be the agreement?
10 years.
10 years, so it does, okay, very good. And then, how do we ensure this is student housing? Like it's not leased up by other professionals and, which would be subject to our affordable portion. So,
well,
I mean, when you go across from RIT, I think, that RIT drives the students there. Tom, can you describe that process a little more?
Well, we have a relationship with LECOM, and we also have I believe you have letter of support that's also included in here. And having 100 positions and the location that this is, the location which this is at, and it being 56 units, 58 units, 54, 58 units, they will be, that should capture the students that should be coming up here from the rotation. If you have over 100 units that are looking for, and the hopes are that they'll end up staying long-term within the community. That it's not just once they complete their, their rotations that they leave. There's hope for a retention of these people. Can I guarantee that is not our intention, and that's not who we're marketing to? But I'm letting you know. There's no, I can't say there's a guarantee, but I can say that's who we've been working with and associating with as far as making this this kind of transformation from where they are to up here, have that pipeline. Because it benefits us, because as long as we have the people down there in Elmira and Erie,
I think
get
it's
them up
fantastic.
here, if we continue to do that, we'll
And you
always
give
have
more
that.
people downtown, it's just,
Yep.
I'm not talking in that respect. I'm all supportive of getting more people downtown. I think that's fantastic. It's just, when you have regular housing, we usually have an affordable component.
Yes.
Students, that's student housing, it's not waived. So I'm trying to ensure that it stays student housing.
And they have no income, I mean, in our research, they don't have the income, they may be getting scholarships or something.
Right.
It's traditional, they're the same as traditional of the student sense, in that they, typically don't have anything outside of maybe the family or, family assets or something, or money that they've earned, part-time or whatever.
Okay, thank you.
And will you help to monitor, the retention of those units towards
Yes.
the
We'll be
housing that we're talking about?
Yes.
That's actually a great point, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Could we get an annual report on how many of those units are from? Is that something you would know?
We would probably know the answer to, we would know the answer to that once we begin leasing this down.
So if you would provide that to the board, I think that would be, at least speaking for myself, I think would be really good to know that is, the majority are still student housing.
Yeah, leasing person should be able to provide.
Okay.
Great. Okay, any questions from the board? All right, there was a public hearing on this project on May 16th.
No comments.
No comments at the meeting. I'll ask you our local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
No.
And are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The seeker process is complete. Any final questions? All right, I'll ask.
Do you know what's going to happen what's going on with 89 East Avenue? Any intelligence on that? No. You do?
Sit tight, or?
You got to.
If you can't say, that's okay too.
We currently have an option on that property too.
Because that seems to me, that building would be prime for what you're doing at 45.
Well,
okay, never mind.
Norm, you playing developer here.
No, I'm just interested in the story again. Okay. I'm interested in the core of downtown, and I've seen what happens down there, and it's important.
We're working diligently within our organization and speaking with RG&E as far as looking at trying to make something work.
Thank you.
With the redevelopment.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'll ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a sales tax exemption, partial mortgage recording tax exemption, and a shelter rent real property tax abatement. Motion? Motion. By Jay, seconded by Troy. Any other comments, questions? All right, Joe is absent. Norm?
Yes.
Rhett?
Yay.
Lisa?
Yes.
Troy?
Okay.
Ann is abstaining, and Jay?
Yeah.
Okay, motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, the next application is ESIV LLC, 301 Exchange Boulevard, and we have Kevin McCullough here, an attorney, to represent the project. Anna, you want to give us a review?
Thank you. ESIV LLC is proposing the construction of 73 senior apartments and townhouse units in the town of Henrietta. This project will be phase 4 of the Erie Station development. Phases 1, 2, and 3 all received Jobs Plus real property tax abatements through COMIDA. The units will consist of 17 one-bedroom, 28 two-bedroom, 11 3-bedroom apartments, as well as 17 two-bedroom townhouses. 12 units will be designated as affordable, with 6 reserved for individuals earning 60% of the area median income, and 6 for those earning 80% of the area median income. Market rate rents will range from $1,500 to $2,500 per month. ESIV LLC plans to create 3 new FTEs over the next 3 years. The $15.5 million project is seeking a real property tax abatement, mortgage recording tax exemption, and sales and use tax exemption. The cost to benefit ratio is 7 to 1.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I think Anna's outlined the principal points of this. This is the 4th phase of Erie Station in the town of Henrietta. It was originally approved years ago, I think somewhere back in 2006, when the special use permit was granted by the town last fall, and then in March of this year, they completed the secret process. And the mix that Anna just recited to you is really a creation of the town. They asked for a different variation to put more units in than your set-aside requires, so that there would be a larger number of units impacted by affordable housing and a broader range. So that, and the mix is across the board too, I should say. So that's part of the aspect that there's going to be 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms in both the full and the partial set aside for affordable, pursuant to HUD guidelines, obviously.
That is our requirement.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And it's a plus 55 community. I hate to use the word senior. As a 74-year-old.
Me too.
19 years ago, I could have gone in one of these units.
I agree with that.
It's a couple middle-aged.
You'll get there soon.
I don't think there's a resolution before the board to change that definition, right?
Should try that. Questions from the board on this? All right, there was a public hearing held on this project on April 12th.
So with that public hearing, we had a dialogue with the town about the affordable units, but there were no public comments outside of that.
Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes, I am.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
I think there'll be one that this board has faced before, and that's Jitcrete. There's only one installer of that, as I understand it, in New York, and it's out of Syracuse.
I see. Okay. Are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
I am, and so is my client.
Any questions from the board? All right. Seeker process is complete, and I'll ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a sales tax exemption, partial mortgage recording tax exemption, and a real property tax abatement. Moved by Rhett, seconded by Jay. Any other comments, questions? I'll take a roll call vote. Joe is absent. Norm?
Yes.
Brett?
Yay.
Lisa?
I need to abstain.
Troy?
Yay.
Ann is a yay, and Jay?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I have to say now that the crowd is gone, this reminds me of the first time I came to Rochester to argue with the appellate division. It was a Friday afternoon in the summer, and I was last on it, and there was nobody left. And Judge Denman was then in charge, and as I got up to the podium, he said, "Counselor, let me interrupt you. Is it true that you think the judge properly dismissed this case on the basis that there was no identification of the object, therefore res ipsa could not lie?" I said, "Yes, Your Honor." And he did one of these, and he got up and pretended he was walking out. I said, "Go ahead, I know it's your first time here." So appreciate it. And I have to say, as an outsider, but one who's been here before and watched you work, I thought you guys did a great job today, and it's not easy under those things. And again, I compliment you on what I refer to as the ladies of COMIDA, to all my clients. They do a phenomenal job supporting you and this team.
That's right. Remember
What
ladies?
about the guys?
The ladies of COMIDA.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't really have any.
You guys gonna have to do something about that.
Be a new TV series.
We have 2 male economic development specialists.
And where are they?
They're hidden.
They're doing the hard work.
They're working hard, they're doing the hard work.
Embrace it like you embrace senior.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys are too much. I think we're getting silly.
It happens after 2 hours.
And
Been
hungry.
here for a while, haven't
Yeah,
you?
nothing to
Yeah,
add to.
yeah.
Okay, we're
All right,
getting
we're in the
there.
home stretch.
Okay, well,
No, we're not.
we got more to do.
We'll move quick.
We'll try to get through this. So we have a project modification for Ambassador Union Street LLC. And
Sure, thank you, Ann. Ambassador Union Street LLC, a real estate holding company, is renovating the existing Ambassador apartment building, a neighborhood multi-unit house in the city of Rochester. The $20 million project was originally approved in May of 2022. This building is 99 years old and needs major renovations in order to comply with modern building code regulations. It will be renovated to a 90-room Marriott Tribute Portfolio Hotel located in the neighborhood of Play. The project was approved for a real property tax abatement, mortgage recording tax, and sales tax exemptions, and the applicant is seeking an extension of the sales tax exemption through December 31st, 2026 because of construction delays due to financing and the economic climate.
Okay, thank you. And we don't have a representative on this, so I'll ask for a motion to approve the extension of the sales tax exemption through December 31, 2026. Moved by Norm, seconded by Rhett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And Chair Burr will give you a quick update on the Finance Committee report. We had 2 companies who responded to our RSVP for fiduciary and investment management work for COMIDA. And so we met with them, we had a discussion. There's been no decision or recommendation at this point, but the committee will continue the discussion in a few weeks at our next Finance Committee meeting. That's all we have to say on that. And Jay, on governance?
So we had a very spirited discussion about our housing policy. It was, had some very good input, and we made significant progress in advancing a revision to the housing policy. The governance committee is meeting again on the 30th. To really kind of put the finishing touches on that. And I would welcome anyone who is interested in that to attend. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to come to an agreement on a housing policy and have something to present before the board at our June meeting. Don't hold me to that, but that's what we are shooting for.
That's what you always say, Jay.
I know.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel more
It's
optimistic
time.
than ever
Yeah.
that we're close.
All right, so Anna has a whole bunch of items for us.
Oh, before that, I think we have to get through executive session, or should we do?
Well, that's the
Oh,
first
sorry.
item
Yeah.
on your list, so.
Oh,
See?
the personnel matters?
Yes.
But you want to go into executive session first?
Yes,
Oh,
before we even bring it up.
so we do the executive director discussion items
No,
before
no.
going
The
into
executive
executive
session
session?
Go
Okay,
into executive session first.
okay.
Yeah.
So we'll need a motion. Okay.
I make a motion to go into executive
Okay.
session.
I second.
And seconded by Norm. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We're back in session. So I need a motion to create and fill the new project manager position at a grade 17. Is there a
I
motion
think to
moved by-
create the new project manager position, or to fill it, or to create it.
To create and fill it.
Okay, all right, okay.
So moved.
So moved.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, software development.
Thank you. Yes, so we are in need of an upgrade to the internal system that staff utilizes to track projects. I think it's in here. Here it is. The upgrade request is a $30,000 to $35,000 request. We did solicit quotes from.
So we have quotes from Innovative. Innovative originally did what we're currently using. It's an old Access database. They originally did it, so we reached out to them.
Access?
Yes.
Yeah.
We reached out to them.
Enough said, right?
Oh, Rec got Matt back.
We weren't super thrilled with what they sent back. I mean, it was fine, but we thought, let's go get another couple quotes. So we reached out to Mindex, and they gave us a quote, and then we reached out to one other.
Way to go, Brett.
Matt, I'm sorry.
Brett, way to go.
Norm said, Matt's leaving, we gotta get Matt. And I said, well, I didn't know how much longer executive session was gonna go, so I let him off the hook.
And we, just when you thought you're out.
Usually people ask me to leave.
It's not like you have anything better to do, right?
And Rhett's out of breath, so he was probably running down the street.
He's a former soccer player, so. Okay, all right, sorry, so.
So after our evaluation, if you wanna know, we would pick Mindex. They were $5,000 cheaper, and what they were offering us was a little more user-friendly than what Innovative was, and it also, their long-term service was a little bit more customized for us as opposed to Innovative, which didn't really lay out how they would.
And what operating system are they gonna?
So it's gonna be a cloud-based database for us, and then it's gonna allow us, the difference between theirs is that I can do more in the back end as far as reporting and stuff like that, so.
And so just very quickly, a disclaimer, when the state of New York required school districts to provide student data to the federal government and state government, there were these third-party products that were crappy. So as superintendent of schools, right, I asked my tech guy, go out and find somebody who can design a system. Mindex came in, they won the RFP, they did a study. It has now been sold to almost 400 school districts around New York State. It's called School Tool.
Good affidavit.
Wow.
They own the code, because I didn't want to own the computer code, but the agreement was East Rochester schools would get any improvement for free.
No kidding.
So,
Dude, if you'd own that code,
I just thinking the same
you'd be
thing.
as rich as Jay right now.
Yeah, right.
Mr. Policini offered me a job before paychecks was paychecks, and I said, I'm a teacher, I love coaching, I don't want to work for you guys. That was before it was paychecks. I wouldn't be sitting here now. Yes, you would. But no, Mindex, you can Google it, School Tool, it's been sold to almost 400 school districts in New York State.
Okay, great. So
It's a great
I'm
product.
gonna ask for a motion
So move.
to authorize the executive director to enter into a contract with Mindex, a software development company, to upgrade the outdated Project Access database to a modern cloud-based program for up to $30,000.
So,
Been moved, seconded.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
So
You're welcome. And Fast New York application.
Yes, thank you. And once again, thank you, Rhett, for using your soccer skills to go get Matt Robit down the street. Sorry, Matt. I mentioned the Fast New York program earlier when we were in executive session. It's a statewide grant program to incentivize the development of shovel-ready sites. COMIDA notably was the first, or one of the first, Fast New York recipients when the Fairlife project received, was awarded $20 million from ESD for RG&E upgrades in Webster as part of the program. You may have heard about, it's well publicized, well covered, there are utility issues in the town of Henrietta. Lisa could probably speak to it, I'm sure it's come to your attention. These utility problems, it's not a lack of capacity, it's a lack of the distribution capabilities.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna let Matt can speak to this a little bit more, but the town is in dire need of at least $17 million worth of upgrades to utility infrastructure. The existing limitations have caused, and Matt can definitely speak to this, caused us to lose projects. So economic competitive site selection projects that were looking at sites and buildings in Henrietta went elsewhere because there was not sufficient utilities. And existing companies are limited there in their ability to expand. There's at least one example of a business that I think is going to be moving from Henrietta to Gates because of the restrictions. So we are asking, as is our practice, we're asking this board for permission to file an intent to apply form with ESD for a Fast New York grant to the tune of $17 million in partnership with the town of Henrietta. There are a number of impacted developers, and the end use of the funds would be to upgrade the Rochester gas and electric utility infrastructure in service to the town. And with that, Matt, you know a great deal more about this than I do or we do from a technical perspective.
Thank you. And so the use of the funds would be to provide 2 upgrades in the what's known as the 255 station, which takes, so I'm not an engineer, so bear with me, but there is power in the area. The challenge is it's not able to be distributed. So this would help unlock that substation, if you will, to provide, and don't quote me on this, but somewhere around 30 to 35 megawatts, which would significantly enhance capabilities for businesses to expand in that area, as well as there's a housing development that's on hold, I think 1,000 units. Also some retail development, and that covers most of that. I'm looking at a map in my mind, so bear with me, but most of the industrialized space from Erie Station Business Park to the area around Alstom and John Street, as well as on the edge of the RIT campus, and it really impacts the whole town in being able to distribute that power. So it's highly needed. It's a representation of larger power challenges across upstate, but we have the ability to unlock that power, which is significant, and the Fast New York application would help RG&E move forward in the solution.
Is this a one-time thing, or should it be broader? Because you're dealing with the distribution issue for this one area, but what about the other areas where you're having that at? I just think, I don't want to use the term piecemeal, but it's just not a real comprehensive approach to deal with this issue.
Talking about more than just
more than just Henrietta, but if we're doing it, is there a way in which we can, put RG&E, in a position where they can look at the entire system deficiencies?
Well, it's interesting. So it is a statewide challenge, and we're having those conversations with RG&E NYSEG now. And actually, I had a meeting with National Grid this morning on the other portions of Monroe County. We have another case where we have a prospect in another municipality that has just been told they need a $6 million spend to upgrade a substation. So the challenge is across the state, and in this case, the nuance is, yes, in an ideal world, this would be taken care of. We have a solution that will solve this problem. There are other, and some of this involves a public service commission, the ability to spend. It involves rate case discussions and negotiations. So it's a bigger issue across the state, but this solution, this is the way forward here, and we really want to support that moving forward. At the same time, we're having larger conversations with the state and the powers that be around regulation of utilities, transmission and distribution of power, as well as generation.
Right.
There's some challenges with generation across the state as well that are, and policy related to that, the electrification of buildings and so forth. And so that's a whole, you'll probably spend a whole afternoon on that topic.
Norm, I think it's an all of the above approach. This is I think, a grant for developers.
But I'm just from my experience dealing with Red at Eastman Business Park.
Yep.
Sat down, worked with Bob Bergen, making sure that we did certain things and brought in enough capacity for natural gas to switch from coal generation to natural gas generation. So we're taking this piecemeal approach instead of just looking at it as a comprehensive structural system and dealing with the utility and making them I'm long in the tooth, so I've been around where I work with RG&E where they were more receptive to your needs, and they would come in and they'd work with you and do these things quickly. I had to really push the button to get RG&E into Costco to meet the deadline for Anthony Costello, or Costco was going to leave. So I'm saying this because I know what's happening here is probably to deal with the Glacier initiative or the property or some other things on John Street. But I'm saying there's other areas in this region that need to have that approach, and I don't want to just do this quick fix.
It's the whole state though.
But I'm saying.
No, and you're not wrong. This is where it's most acute.
Right.
There are other areas where there are limits and will be impacted, and those discussions are being held. In this case, there's literally no power. And we've been trying to be delicate around that, and I don't know if I'm on the record right now, but it's...
Technically you are, yeah, it's
we have power capacity issues in the town right now. But it's challenging depending on what the use is. So we're having intense conversations around even existing space where understanding load factor and what you need to do and the timeline of when you need the electricity. So it's different for every potential user, when they need the power, the quality of the power, and the amount of power, and it creates a significant dilemma, and a number of developers are impacted by it across that whole area, going from Erie Station with Howard Konar to Donahoe to FSI and a number of others that are in that area, including Glacier and a number of others. So it's not an ideal situation, but it allows us to get things back in it allows this solution to progress, which would allow housing and a number of other developments to move forward. And yes, it's part of a bigger factor across upstate. So you're right, this is a fix for this particular issue. There will be other fixes, and New York State policy, it needs to be a part of that as well. Generation and distribution, transmission, and the way the Public Service Commission guides investment and how it's paid for. Because they have been allowed to make some investments ahead of time, which has kind of challenged the whole dynamic, as well as CPA and other things.
I just want to be on the record of saying,
it's
a big
issue. It's a big issue. Yes.
No, it's a perfect
So
place
just
where
to
the public ought
clarify,
to
is
be.
this a third Fast New York we're talking about?
Absolutely.
That this room's addressing?
We done two. We did Fairlife, we did the Aquest site as well, which,
Brighton, Henrietta?
and yes, we
And we just
submitted
did-
for the Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road on behalf of Buckingham.
Wasn't that for a study? Weren't we gonna do a study?
Yes.
So
It's a
they're all at different stages though. So like how the state works, you have to do this LOI. So we're asking permission to do the LOI. So the one we did for the Buckingham, we did the LOI, but nothing's progressed yet. We're actually still waiting on the state to get back to us to confirm. They have to give you the blessing to move forward with the whole application process. So that one is actually stalled right now. The other one that I just mentioned on the west side of town with Aquas Development, we've got the green light from the state to move forward with the application, and now we are working on that application. The application is, back me up here, it's a
Yes, it's a challenge.
nightmare, challenging,
We have to hire a whole person.
Yes.
Yeah, the Aqua site is more of a assessment of the site, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was actually,
no,
I think that was a reimbursement.
The Buckingham
Yeah, same thing,
project,
utility
right.
upgrades.
So
So this would be
for-
technically the fourth.
Is Gene a motion to move forward with the LOI?
Yes.
So moved. Second.
All right, I should read this tomorrow. Motion to approve the submission of the Fast New York Track C grant application to New York State for the southwest portion of the Henrietta for electrical infrastructure improvements. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Paris report.
Thank you, and thank you, Matt, for
Thank you,
sticking
Matt.
around. The Paris report is still in progress. That's why Robin and Allison are working sometimes 12-hour days and working on Saturdays. Robin, I think you mentioned that we're looking at by June 1st, perhaps. I don't want to put it, I shouldn't put a date on it.
Oh, that's like in 2 weeks.
Okay, I won't
Sometime in
fix
June.
that. Okay. We did submit the report for MCIDC, which was much smaller, but yes, we've been in regular communication with the
And you
ABO
communicated,
and
yeah.
we anticipate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we are a little bit behind them farther than we were at this time last year, which makes us lose sleep at night, but.
Because of these other projects.
I mean, if you knew
All
what we
this
did
stuff's
spend the
getting in
last
our
week
way.
working on,
That's right.
we're getting pulled in too many directions, so we're trying to.
Well, if you're using an access system to get your work
That's part of
done,
it.
Oh my God, it's so slow.
how could you, I mean, that's gonna help you with your peers.
It
Right.
will.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes they're waiting 5 minutes for the thing to catch up.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Anything else? We have a copy of the dashboard.
The dashboard is the dashboard. We're cranking along, and just a personal announcement. I'm expecting, and I'm due October 25th, and it's another boy.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
I saw you holding your tummy and I was like gonna ask you and I'm like, don't ask that.
Don't ask.
Maybe she's hungry.
I didn't
which
know
I
this.
can't.
Well, we are hungry.
Yeah, that's true. But you'll be in good hands. I'll be out for a shorter time than I was last time, but it all depends. But you'll, of course, be in good hands with Robin and Allison and Rachel and our project.
And a project manager.
And a new project manager.
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
Again?
Their team received an award at the WMBE conference that was sponsored by the city of Rochester. And the entire team, and you didn't tell the board?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, technically it was Anna Boulay-Fitzsimmons from the Apex Accelerator and Matt Burrell, who is he actually was an Apex Accelerator employee, and now he works for the county's DE&I department on the MWBE certification program. But yes, it's a program that we technically house and staff that was recognized by the city. So thank you for saying that.
No, that was great to see that. And you're seeing your team there and the energy that they had
Thank you.
was special.
Thanks
and
for coming over and saying hello to us.
Absolutely, it's important. And it's an acknowledgement of the great job that you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. That was a great event.
Sorry, couldn't make that. I had a
No, that's
last
all right.
minute.
That's
and I'm
okay. Thank you.
Obviously.
Thank you.
Big supporter of the MWE.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I have to go to the latest one.